This video is really important for students of 9, 10, first year, second year, and even for students of bachelor's and master's. There can be certain MCQs in your objective paper about these figures of speech, and even they could be asked in the subjective papers of English as well. Other than these figures of speech are also asked in the commission papers as well. Okay, first of all, what is a figure of speech? Words or phrases that make our language embellished, effective, ornamented, impressive and appealing to the listener or reader are called figures of speech. हम हमेशा कोशिश करते हैं कि हम कुछ ऐसी जुबान का इस्तेमाल करें जो हमारे लिसनर या सामीन को बहुत अच्छा लगे और उनके लिए अपीलिंग हो. जैसा कि there are certain examples like she is as beautiful as moon. Love is a battlefield. The girl said boo. In these three sentences, we have used different figures of speech. In the first sentence, we have onomatopoeia. In the second sentence, we have simile. And in the third sentence, we have used metaphor. You would be thinking that these are really tough, but I have gathered very simple information for you, and there are certain examples with these figures of speech. There are a number of figures of speech, but I'm going to talk about those figures of speech that are most important for all of us or for the students. First of all, we will talk about personification. When we attribute qualities of human beings to non-humans, this is called personification. जब हम इंसानों की खूबियां किसी बेजान चीज को या जो humans ना हो उन्हें दे दें तो इसे कहा जाता है personification. There are certain examples of it. Daffodils are fluttering and dancing in the breeze. This example is from the poem Daffodil written by William Wordsworth. The wind howled, the waves smiled. So all these characteristics are of human beings, and we have associated these characters with non-humans. Simile. When we compare two unlike things or ideas by using as or like, this is somewhat different from metaphor, but they have something common as well. In simile, we make a comparison between two unlike things with the use of as or like. For example, he ran as fast as leopard. She's as beautiful as moon. He eats like a pig. My love is like a rosary full of mysteries. So over here, we find that in the examples we have used certain words like as or like. But in metaphor, we again make a comparison between two things or ideas, but there is not usage of as or like. And as we saw that in simile, we use as or like, but in metaphor, we do not use as or like. This comparison is made on the basis of some common qualities between those two things. For example, as we usually say, my brother is a lion, time is money, the world is a stage. This is a famous metaphorical expression from one of the plays of William Shakespeare, Love is a Lie. Okay, now moving on to another important figure of speech, that is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the same sounds in the beginning of neighboring words. It is really important to notice that alliteration is the repetition of sounds in the beginning of neighboring words. Why? Because there are other figures of speech in which words are repeated but not in the beginning of words. Those would be called assonance or consonants. But alliteration is the repetition of sounds in the beginning of neighboring words. As we have example, she sells seashells at the seashore. Bluebells are blooming. Water wonderland where Winnie was. So over here in these examples we can notice that there is repetition of the same sounds or the repetition of same consonant sounds in the beginning of neighboring words. Apostrophe. When we address someone who is not present or who is already dead. So for example, if we are calling someone who is not present with us or who has already been dead, then it is called apostrophe. For example, we have certain examples. O liberty, what things are done in thy name? Keats would be living at this time. And this is very famous expression, O Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? This is by William Shakespeare. In these things, we are addressing someone who is not present with us, or we are addressing someone who is having some abstract qualities or abstract ideas. Paradox. It is a figure of speech that is used to combine two contradictory statements or ideas. When we combine two opposite or contradictory statements in one sentence, it is called paradox. As we say, war is peace. How is it possible? Because these two things are different. War never led to peace, but over here in this statement, it is mentioned that war is peace. My weakness is my strength. Ignorance is bliss. Freedom is slavery. So these were some of the examples of paradox. Hyperbole. A hyperbole is a figure of speech that is used to exaggerate something in order to show that there is some strong emotional response. It is also used for creating humor in your speech. My granddad is older than the time. So in order to exaggerate that my granddad is too old, we have used this hyperbole. I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. So over here we could find out that the person who is saying this sentence is too hungry. So over here we have some other examples. I have told you million times not to lie. Okay, moving on, onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the formation of a word from a sound associated with what it is named. As we hear number of sounds in our surroundings, and when we hear those sounds and we convert those sounds in the form of different alphabets or in the form of some written word, it is called onomatopoeia. As there are different sounds, impact sounds boom, animal sounds cuckoo, machine noises honk, clang, zap and booing. Synecdoche. A synecdoche occurs when a part is represented by the whole, or conversely the whole is represented by the part. For example, if we just say we say new wheels in order to refer to a new car, or if we say plastic in order to refer to credit cards. So likewise, we can use different words in order to refer one thing that stands for something else, one part that stands for the whole, like ask for her hand refers to asking a woman to marry. Moving on to next figure of speech that is also very important, anaphora. Anaphora is the repetition of words or phrases in clauses or poetic lines. This repetition occurs at the beginning of these structures. As in Julius Caesar, William Shakespeare says, I came, I saw, I conquered. Be bold, be brief, be gone. So these words can be used or they are considered as figure of speech like anaphora. Now moving on to irony. Irony is a figure of speech in which there is contradiction of expectation between what is said and what is really meant. When we use certain words that do not mean the same as we intend. For example, if the day is cold and rainy, then you might say, what a beautiful day. Might be you are disturbed with that rainy day and that coldness, but you have said, what a beautiful day. So this means that it does not mean what you said. It means something opposite to it. A marriage counselor files for divorce. This is ironical because the expectation is that a professional who coaches couples through rough patches would herself have a strong marriage. So these were some of the most important figures of speech. And if you have any confusion or any question, you can type in the comment box. I'm going to answer all your questions. And if you do not understand any other figure of speech, you can ask me. I'm going to tell you about that as well. But for that, you need to like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.